And I think Michelle, my wife Michelle, her preface to the book says it all. And to give you a little bit of insight on that preface that she wrote, she didn't want any part of this book. She's a very private person, and she is fiercely protective of me. And she thought that people would use this book to harm me because it is literally everything that could hurt me. Every embarrassing moment, every shortfall, every failure, it's all there. And I was thinking about a way to do this, and should I do this? And without going into the full story, it was a Thursday evening. I got a text from a buddy of mine saying, "Hey, did you know so-and-so?" I called him and I said, "Hey, man, words matter. When you said, did I know so-and-so? This is not a text message. What's going on?" He got off work and he drove across the street and took his own life. And I thought to myself, I know this guy. He's a good dude. I would have never thought that he's struggling. Always happy when you see him, and guy's a warm hug. And I thought to myself, if I had not been so afraid of my words and my story and I put this out a month ago, would it have made a difference? Or even worse, more of an indictment of my character at the time, I think, had I just been a good friend and called him a week ago or Thursday morning. Now, we can what if that all day, and it's ridiculous to think that maybe that would have done it, but I ruminated over that for the next couple of days, and so did my wife, and she thought to herself, coming from a spouse, I didn't know where you were, speaking of me. I can only think of his wife if she knew that she was struggling and couldn't find the courage to say something to him. I don't know how she would get through that because I don't know how I would recover. She says, I feel like I want to say something in your book or do something in your book. And then she laughed and she said, but I'm not a writer. And I laughed and said, neither am I. So the preface that's in the book, she sat down over coffee at our back porch on a Saturday morning, 2 days after our friend had taken his life. And she typed it on her laptop. And as she typed it that day, there are no edits, no commas, no nothing. As she typed it in raw motion, it sits in the book. And she read it for the audiobook just 3 weeks ago, one time through. And it was not produced. It was not edited. How she said it is how it was done. And I will say, when I listened to it, I sat here holding her hands and I cried because it is the most beautiful part of this entire project and this journey. Hiding in plain sight, if you want to get it. Yes, there's a lot of stories in there about grit, the lessons I learned and the way forward, but more than anything else, it is an apology letter to anyone who's loved me over the last 30 years. And it's a love letter to the woman who stayed. So if you want to find a way forward, the best advice I can give you is get the book. Read Surviving Retirement by Medina Baumgart. She wrote a great book talking about retirement and how to deal with your spouse. There are so many out there. Emotional support for law enforcement. I mean, the list just goes on. That people that are much more capable than I am. I just know because I messed it up.
You underestimate yourself.
Well, I have a tendency to do that too. Imposter syndrome is still alive and well.
I see that. Something to always work on,
It is.
No, I appreciate you sharing that. I really do. And I think after listening to this, for the listeners out there, I'm sure you're intrigued now to go get the book to whether you read it or listen to it. Listening was just a lot easier for me. But absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend it. And it's honestly one of those where I feel like you can listen to or reread every 6 months or once a year or something like that. And I think there's a list of books that should be mandatory reading or listening for our community when they first start. Like, why not? Like, we give them all these learning domains in the police academy, fire academy, you get all this stuff to read. But if they read Surviving Law Enforcement, your book, a list of other books, maybe it would give them some tools for success. Just a thought.
No, I agree. I agree. And to be honest with you, if anybody's listening to this and they say, well, you need to buy 800,000 cops on the payroll. If somebody in government said, we want to buy 800,000 copies of your book, I'm going to give you a link to buy them at cost. I won't make a penny. I could care less. Just to know that the message is getting out there and anybody can find it. Yeah. Do it. I love it. And I love that people are connecting with it and finding a way forward. So my mission's complete, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I like it. I can definitely pass it on to my department because I know they're working on a retention and mental health position full time. So I'll definitely be able to pass this on